By now, you've probably seen an anime called Goblin Slayer. It's gone viral due to its plot and dark and gritty setting and atmosphere. By now, you probably watched the episodes themselves, watched people react to it, and saw people who couldn't handle the plot. And people are hyping this up like it's the best thing they've ever seen. However, I'm here to tell you that Goblin Slayer sucks. And no, it's not because of the plot. Goblin Slayer is a story about a man called Goblin Slayer, and yes, that is his name. None of the characters have names actually, just their titles and occupation, which is either unique or lazy. And I'm leaning towards the latter. The plot thus far seems to be a one-dimensional gore fest with plot and the typical anime harem. And many people have been praising and shitting on the anime for the plot and not the actual story or characters, and I will fix that right here. You're probably wondering, how can I possibly tell if the story is good if there are only 2 episodes? Well, I've read the manga up to chapter 28, and I've also read 16 chapters of the Goblin Slayer Year 1 manga, which is the prequel to the series. I'm aware that there is a light novel, but I will get into that later. From what I've read so far, Goblin Slayer stays one-dimensional trash. Goblin Slayer, the character, has no personality. He's a mindless drone that only lives to kill goblins. There is nothing wrong with having a character to be bent on a goal, especially in a story about one's vengeance. However, it becomes a problem when that's the depth of their character and nothing more. There are other characters who are similar to this formula but execute it much better. Sasuke Uchiha, Batman, Punisher, and even Eren from Attack on Titan are shown to have a life, personality traits, and motivations outside of their main goal. Goblin Slayer has none of that. He is a boring character. He reminds me of Inaho from Aldnoah Zero or Tatsuya from Mahoka. 28 episodes in, and it's just Goblin Slayer and his crew going into dungeon after dungeon, killing goblins after goblins after goblins while running into a plot. The side characters all have one-dimensional and uninteresting personalities as well. The priestess has no character at all, other than being weak and scared. The elf archer is slightly funny at times, but mostly comes off as flat. The dwarf is just the old guy, except unlike other old people in anime, he gives no wisdom and no experience of anything. And the lizard guy is addicted to cheese. One good thing I will say about Goblin Slayer is that he basically fights with strategy and tactics, using weapons and traps to help him fight, which is much better than friendship power-ups. However, this is Goblin Slayer's one strength. Everything else is lackluster. It's boring. Goblin Slayer doesn't have a goal or a theme. It's just killing goblins every week and maybe sprinkling in some slice of life elements here and there, and bam, you have a Goblin Slayer episode. Since Goblin Slayer will most likely get 1 season, as most new animes do nowadays, I do not feel the need to look into the light novels to see what happens further down the line. Even by some miracle, the story actually gets good and has some Shakespearean level narrative or something like that. If the viewers have to wait 1,000 episodes just to see progress, the story is poor. I can overlook a rocky few first chapters, but if it's 20 plus chapters and nothing much has happened, then there's a problem. A story needs to be engaging early on, just like a long video needs to get people to stay interested when going on a long rant. Goblin Slayer is nothing but a dark fantasy action story that falls flat and has no substance otherwise. You know a series must suck when the only thing you hear people talking about is the plot and the people triggered by the plot, and not if the story was actually good. I've seen people say that this will be the anime of the year, and it's sad how people hype things up so blindly. I'm not trying to be edgy or some type of hater. I'm being a critic, taking facts and analyzing them, using what I found to create and support my opinions and impressions on something. I respect anyone who likes this series. However, to convince me that this series is good in any way is impossible in my humble opinion. This is Shao64, and I will see you next video.